I got a question. So I posted that I am a 44-year-old mother of 10, and I said their ages. What does it matter how many babies' fathers I have? What does that mean? I'm glad I didn't stick with one because if I had one up baby daddy, then that means all my kids would have been up. And it's a reason why I have different. Because when they start up, they gotta go. Or if they happen to go to jail, I'm not gonna sit there and wait. I have to do. If they were good to me, then yes, I might have waited. But other than that, no. If they was out cheating before they went to jail, then that's where they needed to be at, and that was my cue to get away. Other than that, I take care of my kids. I've been there. They know their dads. I have paperwork on all of them, and it still doesn't matter at the end of the day how many baby daddies I have. As long as I didn't give my children up for adoption. I didn't make no family members keep them, or none of that.
Hey, they be serious about this. This is the worst part about this whole conversation is that, where we should be saying, hey, they got a skit going or they trolling. They don't. They really are serious and they believe that they're doing the right thing and having 10 children by multiple different fathers. And then I don't see anybody holding them accountable inside of their comments when y'all send me these videos to react to. And don't worry, I always like to make sure I link back to the content creator in order to give credit. But in 2025, this is what we still dealing with is women that's saying that or justifying having 10 children. Hold on, let's stop for a minute. Let's pause, y'all. Do you know how expensive and hard it is? Most of y'all that's watching this, because I understand my demographics, you know what it's like. You know how difficult it is, how expensive it is to give a child the life that they deserve. When I hear grown-ups say stuff like, I deserve a good man, or what they think that they deserve, I disagree with it wholeheartedly. I have conversations on panels about it, all of that. I don't believe that anybody that's an adult deserves anything. You get what you earn. On the flip side, children are different. Soft spot in my heart. And the reason that is because they didn't ask to be here. You see what I'm saying? And so it's your job as a parent to put them in the greatest position possible to succeed. One of the things that is that you have to make sure that you're financially responsible. There's no way that you can tell me that in the 2024 fives and up that it's responsible to have 10 children out of wedlock. It's impossible because number one, I know and I really do get it. I mean, my daughter um let me say this, and I've said this before, so this is nothing new for you guys, but I want to remind you because the context matters. And I always like to relate it back to myself and not just speak on the subject because this type of stuff is personal to me. You know, my daughter, when we had our daughter, I was very careful because it was two things that I was factoring in, right? I was open to the possibility of not having children at all. And the number one reason for that was that I didn't want to bring a kid into this ugly world. I knew that the world was just going to get worse as time progressed. And, so it had to be a very intentional thing. Most of these people that's out here having children, they just out here winging it. They having unprotected sex. They getting pregnant. A lot of them use um, Planned Parenthood to mitigate the pregnancy and all of that type of stuff. We had that conversation during this past election season. But I was very intentional. And so I decided that if I am going to have one, I'm going to have one. And I'm going to put every single thing that I can into that child because they didn't ask to be here. And more importantly, they deserve the best possible, the greatest effort that you can give. For me, it elevated us as parents, as a man, and it motivated me even to this day. My daughter's about to turn 17, and it motivated me even to this day to give her the learned lessons and allow for her to fail in controlled environments while at the same time operating with a level of privilege. And so that's not a knock. I know a lot of people like to use that as a knock. Oh man, no, that's not a knock. Y'all basically passing on, she's passing on generational curses to her children that will then be reciprocated. And then they breed these monsters and they want credit for being parents. But in reality, you're basically breeding a generational curse. You know what I'm saying? So I understand the cost of what it takes to be a parent is very, very, very expensive. If you want to put them in good schools, which even if you don't put them in private school, you still have to move to certain neighborhoods, so that you can then, and I don't know how it works in y'all cities or in y'all states or in y'all counties, but you want to, it costs to live in certain neighborhoods that allow for your child to be able to grow and be in certain schools. If you want them to, you know what I'm saying, succeed and get the real life experiences or fail in controlled environments, putting them in sports or, my daughter does taekwondo, for example, and the traveling costs and the equipment costs and the classes and the coaching and all of that stuff is very expensive to clothe a child, to feed a child, all of that stuff without government assistance is very expensive. So you have to be very intentional about the people that you surround yourself with. And she has two parents, which we already know the data and the statistics behind having a two-parent household makes you much more likely to be successful, much less likely to go to jail, much less likely to need therapy and be dependent or have dependency issues and all of this stuff. So when I see a woman like this, and I see women like this all the time, and occasionally I'll select something out of the email box, and thank you guys for continuing to send me this content of these people saying this wild stuff. It breaks my heart, not for the person, because I think that the person is making a grave bad decision, and they very much matter of fact in their demeanor, and they don't really care, and then they're going to depend on the government, or you know what I'm saying, or they always in most instances have some level of government assistance, and they say, they got they baby daddies is in prison, and these are the type of men that they continue to deal with, and say, why do people care? Well, in most instances it's other people's tax dollars that support your lifestyle and all of this stuff. So I think that it's very, very irresponsible. I'm just going to keep it G. I think it's irresponsible. I think it's evil, evil. And a lot of people and a lot of these women are straight up demons in the way that they do things, in the way that they raise their children. And it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. And then they're going to try to say tax the rich or tax people that make more money or that's actually striving to be better and do better for their children, to give it to other people that's not best for their children. And the daddies is in prison. And so that's why I say, they always say hold the men accountable. You can fix 99% of men, and 1% of men can populate the majority of the women, and they gonna still choose all to be with the worst of society. It's bad. It's disrespectful. And the good guys, they get a bad reputation for doing things the right way because we highlight the negativity, and we say that this is the way that we need to operate within a culture. The culture is trash. These women are trash. The culture is trash. I just have to tell it like it is. There's no ifs, ands, or in betweens. There's no mincing words. It's no none of that. The culture is absolutely trash, and this is the example of it. And it's unfortunate. And the children are the ones that's going to suffer for the sins of their parents. The children are the ones that's going to. Most of these people don't even know what it means to be in a good household. They so used to passing down generational trauma that they don't even know what it means to be in a loving household. All they know and all they raised to believe is this is what normal looks like. And then you pass down the same behaviors into the next generation and into your kids, and then we don't want to take responsibility that we raising a bunch of demons. It's impossible for these kids to possibly have the best life possible with the circumstances that she's presenting to us right now. Literally impossible. It's unfortunate, man. But then they'll call me the bad guy for calling it out. And that's cool. I'll be the bad guy, but we're going to just have a real conversation going forward because I'm tired, man. Listen, you can do whatever it is that you want to do for yourself. But then when your kid grow up to steal my kids' wheels and hubcaps, and they always want to get a Charger and a Challenger and then be. Listen, let me not go in. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Again, I always like to give credit to the content creators, regardless of whether I agree with them or not. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Phenomenal stuff. Got a new video dropping for y'all this weekend. Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off of life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later.